Fun day, friends. Welcome to the PHNX Tailgate Show, sponsored by DraftKings. Well, my oh my, look who it is. Johnny Venerable, Shane Dieffenbach.
Woo!
Where the hell's Saul Bookman? We'll tell you in a hot minute. First, roll those intros.
Shane Dieffenbach, Little Minds Preschool, Spelling Bee champion.
Johnny Venerable, Chittick's Junior High School, Normal, Illinois.
Saul Bookman, Natterburg Elementary. Go Rattlers.
We need one for Chierstin now.
We do. Bad news, Saul Bookman, flight delayed coming back from Denver, Colorado. Good news, Chierstin Susel, live from Cleveland at the Brown Stadium as we speak on the field. Chierstin, good morning. What's the good word from Cleveland?
Hi, good morning. Am I framed up okay?
Oh,
looks
fantastic.
Woo!
Is this? Oh,
So
my
I have to
goodness.
give
Look at this shot.
I have to give a shout out to everybody at the stadium because I had no idea where I was going, and it took me a while to get in, and they escorted me to this spot and said, here you go, here's your spot, have fun. Otherwise, I would have had no idea what to do. So thank you to everybody in Cleveland who's been so friendly so far.
Look at that Cleveland hospitality. Let's get a Chierstin.
Cheers.
A Chierstin.
It's a virtual cheers to Chierstin.
And it was raining and hailing probably about 30 minutes ago, and that subsided too, just for the show. How about
Wow,
that?
we love that. Thank you, Mother Nature. So what's the weather like right now? And do we expect to see anything different before game time?
It's cold and drizzling, at least cold for me. I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not that cold. It's probably in the 60s right now, but it is wet. And you've got the lakefront here, so you never know what's going to happen at this stadium. But last I checked, it wasn't supposed to be raining come kickoff. I mean, obviously, we're still hours before kickoff here, so hopefully the weather clears up. But right now, it's wet conditions and cold, in my opinion.
Fun fact, the first time I met Chierstin, we all got together one night, and I think it was approaching triple digits, and she had a sweater on. So we're going to take her word with a grain of salt here, but I know that she gets her blood's thinned out, let's just say, since she's migrated from Cleveland to Arizona. But we're thrilled to have you. Thanks so much for calling in. We're going to kick things off with Pitch the Tent this morning and talk all things college football. And first, of course, Shano, we got to highlight the disaster, the hot mess, garbage time disaster that was the second half of the ASU game. Quickly, Chierstin, did you have an opportunity to see any of that game last night?
I watched a little bit. I'll admit, I was a little more focused on what was happening in Knoxville, the Tennessee Ole Miss game here, because it started earlier and I was asleep. I fell asleep with the game on, the ASU game on, so I didn't watch the second half. I know that ASU fans are very disappointed, but I do not know exactly what went down.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to blow off some steam on the ASU postgame show last night, so I don't have as much to say. But the thing with the Sun Devils team right now, at least for me, is they're not able to capitalize on either other teams' mistakes or when they put themselves in a good position. And last night they got ASU'd. They didn't score in the second half, which is something that they've been doing to opponents in their last couple of games. And Utah just looked more passionate in that game. And they kind of went away from what they were doing well. In that first half, they were able to pick up on early downs, a couple yards. They weren't scared to throw the ball on first down. And the second half, they went away from that. And Utah is known as to have a really good defensive front.
Yeah.
And they stopped the run really well. And for some reason, Herm Edwards and Zach Hill wanted to go back to the run in that second half, and it just wasn't working. And yeah, it cost them for sure.
So for those of you who don't know ASU, I'm sure most of you do, ASU was up 21-7 at halftime. I had a tweet mapped out that I was going to tweet out maybe in the fourth quarter, because I like to have fun with all the ASU homers here, and then Saul, who's of course a U of A fan and graduate. Herm Edwards is big time. I was like, don't, give him any more grief. But I didn't tweet it. And then they subsequently were outscored, that being the ASU Sun Devils, 28-0 in the second half, which in my opinion, I mean, it all but eliminates them from a Final Four consideration if we wanted to go on that extreme. And the fact that
was never happening.
You sound like Saul.
Come on.
What do you think, Chierstin, that this team played over its head to begin the season and just was exposed last night to really what they are, which is a little bit above average?
No, I think they're I mean exactly an average to above average team, and I think their record reflects that. I mean an above average team can pretty much win on any given weekend, right? And so I mean I think their results so far this season shows exactly who they are. They certainly are not. I don't know what I don't actually know what the temperature was to start the season, just because of all the outside noise.
Yeah.
But I would say before the NCAA investigation happened and all of that, I would say expectations were extremely high. But I don't know that ASU, to be honest with you, is ever going to be more than average to a little bit above average, ever.
Yeah, that's kind of Brittany's writing a story on that right now, is why they're always going to be this sleeping giant of a kind of in the Pac-12 and just in general. I mean, it's the failure to capitalize year after year. We were talking about it last night, and it's just so reminiscent. Like you went right when you think this team's different. Every single time they have a season like this, they shut you down. And I compared them to an abusive ex-girlfriend last night. It really feels that way. That they keep coming back. And,
did you have to use that analogy?
Yeah, because they keep breaking my heart. I feel like I'm getting gaslit by her.
Like emotionally abusive? Maybe?
Emotionally.
Yeah, I was like, geez.
Not like hotline abusive. That we have to get somebody on the phone. All right. So speaking of abuse, Chierstin, you alluded to this. The scene down in Knoxville, Tennessee, Lane Kiffin, golf balls being thrown at him after he defeated the team he used to coach, that being Tennessee. Ole Miss comes out with the victory. Give us your insight into that scene and how disappointed you maybe were with the fans down in Knoxville.
It was absolutely disturbing what was going on last night. I mean, fans were there was still about a minute left on the clock, and as we saw, Tennessee got the ball back and had an opportunity to win the game. So with that in mind, Tennessee fans nearly sabotage the entire rest of the game for their team. You have to understand, I guess, Tennessee fans, because we don't have that anywhere in the Pac-12.
No.
I would say there are three things that East Tennessee worships. That would be Peyton Manning, Dolly Parton, and Tennessee football. I mean, that's the top of the echelon. People live for in East Tennessee, and that's really all that matters out there. So Lane Kiffin has a history, a love-hate history. I would say mostly hate, but for some reason, Tennessee fans just can't get enough of him. But when he was coaching, he basically up and left for the job at USC. And literally, Knoxville was set on fire. People were burning mattresses. I mean, I kid you not. There was like fires that were being started. I mean, they were enraged when he left. And so Tennessee fans never really forgot that. Although I would say a few of these coaching changes that have happened since, Tennessee fans have all of a sudden become Lane Kiffin fans and said, hey, why don't we just hire Lane back? So anyways, it's a bizarre thing, but their team means, and they haven't had success in a long time, but that team means so much to Tennessee fans. You really, if you live on this side of the country and that's all you've ever experienced, you cannot truly understand it. You never will truly understand it. They live in an alternate reality. And so what happened was, if you didn't see, with about a minute left in the game, Tennessee fans didn't like a call and didn't like the fact that, Lane Kiffin was on his way with his Ole Miss team to beating Tennessee, although they still got the ball back. And so there was mustard bottles, water bottles, beer cans, golf balls being thrown on the field. And we're not talking about like a handful of things. It was worse than I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. And the game wasn't over yet. And so it was honestly, it was disturbing. And Tennessee fans should be embarrassed.
There was a 20-minute delay from that, and Lane Kiffin got hit with a golf ball. There's a great video of him picking it up and being like, "What? Why?
What's the relevancy of the mustard being thrown at him? Condiments, I think, are free at college games. So why are you bringing your own mustard to the game?" But in all seriousness,
I'd be lying if I said I never brought a bottle of hot sauce with me somewhere. So I don't know. Maybe there's just a big mustard fan.
You have to have extras, I'm assuming, but. Let's be honest. So Lane Kiffin himself is not a saint, right? He jumps from program to program. He's kind of like this like Playboy-esque kind of head coach who's really never won anything. He's the son of NFL great defensive coordinator Monty Kiffin, so a lot of people think he's entitled. But he is cruising right now with the Ole Miss Rebels. If you're Tennessee and that program, and to that fan base, with all due respect, like that program has not been anything worth the salt for at least a decade and a half. I mean, growing up in the early to mid 90s, they were a national contender. They're just not that anymore. So I think, I don't know if it's like the lack of self-esteem issues down in Knoxville where they think like we should be on par with the Alabamas and the Georgias. And, you know, if they get the right coach, maybe that happens. But like from a talent perspective, they're never contending ever. And so to watch, I'm sure Lane Kiffin rub salt in the wound. He's got Ole Miss at 13. They're subsequently going to move up now, maybe in the top 10 with a couple other losses. I'm sure it irks them that they feel like, once again, kind of they're the redheaded stepchild of the SEC, where they were this once heralded program, and now they're just kind of second tier.
Yeah, and you got to imagine what it would be like. Let's take away in Arizona. Let's take away the Cardinals. Let's take away the Diamondbacks. Let's take away the Suns. Let's take away the Cardinals. I mean, Tennessee, the University of Tennessee is all they have out in Knoxville. And all they've heard about is the stories of success from grandparents and parents and what used to be. And so the younger generation, you know, there's a whole lot of culture there, and it goes back, very far, and that's quite literally all they have there. So their fans are on a completely different level.
So Ole Miss presumably is going to be top 10 because of some subsequent losses in the top 10, most notably Iowa going down to Purdue. I think Iowa maybe a little bit exposed as a fraud team, scoring 7 points in the process to a decent Purdue team. But again, just opens the door for maybe an Ohio State. Shane, right now, what is the landscape of the Final Four in your opinion?
Well, I mean, Georgia is clearly like nobody can beat them right now. And then Cincinnati, obviously, if they keep blowing people out like they did to UCF yesterday, they'll be in that top 4. Bama's going to find a way to sneak in. That's a for sure.
You think so?
I think so. I really do. I mean, to me, it's just what they showed yesterday. I mean, everyone kind of expected it. Nick Saban after a loss. I don't see a landscape where Alabama's not in there. And then the 4th team is kind of up for grabs right now. I mean, everything's kind of up for grabs. There's going to be more top 10 losses every single week. It seems to happen, but I mean, the parity, obviously, what we've been talking about for this whole year, it's relevant in college football. It's crazy.
Oregon's got 1 loss. They're the 9th team ranked in the nation. I'm sure the Pac-12 is hoping and praying that they get in. And then you think about Oklahoma. Chierstin, a story we talked about earlier this week on our PHNX Cardinals podcast, with a couple quarterback quandaries there. Spencer Rattler benched. They went with Caleb, the young kid. They had a big win yesterday. What do you make of that whole dynamic in Oklahoma?
Well, as long as they're winning, it doesn't really matter. And we have the Oklahoma student reporter to thank that we knew that was coming ahead of time.
Yeah.
But I would say, hey, if Caleb's your guy, if he's the best guy that's going to lead your team, as long as it stays a battle amongst quarterbacks and it doesn't bleed into the team morale, if he's better than Spencer Rattler and he can lead them to wins, who cares?
Every year we look up, and it's the Oklahoma Sooners just dominating that conference. Why think any different? They're 4th in the country right now. All right, well, let's transition from a little college talk to, of course, some pro football. Before we do that, I do want to plug our sponsor today, which is DraftKings, the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code PHNX, and if you bet a mere $1 on any NFL games today, you're going to get $100 worth of free bets. Again, the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download it now. Shano, you've got your hat on.
Yeah, I got my hat on because of how much I lost last night on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I'm trying to get some more free bets.
You're trying to coax DraftKings if they're watching to give you more money. Well, you can't double dip. So if you've used the promo code in the past, first of all, thank you.
Identities.
Yes, but if you haven't, shame on you. Go and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I found it a fun life hack. Whereas I've downloaded it on my wife's phone and gotten a slew of free bets, which is great. Promo code PHNX, get $100 worth of free bets when placing a $1 bet today on any NFL game. Eligibility restrictions do apply, 21 or over. Do you know the rest of that spiel?
Yeah, but I just want to make sure that your wife is using her free bets for herself.
She is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
With my influence.
There you go. Good. Yeah, it's 21 plus. Arizona only. Gambling problem. 1-800 next step. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Yeah, let's talk some cards, baby.
Yes, we are going to get off my lawn with Chierstin Susel live from Cleveland. And let's face it, there's one matchup and one matchup only that we're going to highlight this morning, and that is the Arizona Cardinals, the COVID Cardinals, if you will, at the Cleveland Browns. I was on Twitter, Chierstin, before the show, perusing around, and there was some rumblings that the Cardinals may have a non-defensive starter that is going to break this morning that has COVID. What are you hearing from the team and just the dynamic of the adversity that they're facing right now?
Well, I certainly haven't heard anything more on that front of whether or not they're going to be without another defensive starter. But listen, this is going to be a challenge unlike any other. I just can't think of another time where the Cardinals have had to face this much adversity and so much up in the air. It's hard to even think of, what the keys to this game is going to be because you're without your head coach. And I would say just, take care of the football. But, at the end of the day, regardless of what the adversity is, you're going to face adversity every week and the show must go on. So I think, the team has the leaders that it takes to rally this team together and put on a good outing today in Cleveland. They don't really have a choice.
Yeah. The thing for me that I keep going back to in this game is the game plan's obviously already set. If Kyler Murray can implement that successfully, you're talking a completely new confidence in this team because there's already so much behind it. But if Kyler Murray can rally these troops and win this game, it's good to be an Arizona Cardinals fan. So what do you think the key for him is going into a hostile environment without his head coach? What do you think he's going to need to do on the field today to kind of instill that confidence in Cardinals fans?
Stick to what you know, stick to the game plan. Don't try to do too much and take care of the football. I was listening to the local sports talk radio on my way in and they were honing in on the fact that the Cardinals had fumbled the ball 8 times and only coughed it up once within those 8 times. So the Cardinals are turnover prone at times, and you better believe that Cleveland's hoping that'll be the case. They're going to try and force some turnovers, but at the end of the day, the Cardinals offense still has the upper hand, in my opinion, on this Browns defense. And so if you stick to the game plan, you stick to what you know, take care of the football, don't try to do too much. There's not a defense, the Browns defense, in my opinion, is not going to be able to stop the weapons that the Cardinals have on offense. So just stick to what you know, stick to what you have, and the Cardinals are going to be just fine.
He was much maligned as the Bronco head coach, that being Vance Joseph, but he has subsequently shown he is a very capable defensive coordinator. That is Vance Joseph. Talk to us about the experience he brings in this kind of environment. I think he was actually the interim coach for the Miami Dolphins once upon a time and did relatively well. How fortunate are the Cardinals to have Vance Joseph in this matchup today?
Well, I think Frank alluded to it on Friday where he said, a defensive coach is going to address the team differently than, an offensive coach like Cliff Kingsbury or a head coach. But the fact of the matter is, Vance Joseph has been in this position. He knows how to address a team as a head coach, and his players believe in him. So there's not like there's this, yes, you're without your head coach, but I don't think there's a disbelief from this team in a guy like Vance Joseph and the help that he's going to have around him. And I thought that it was interesting. He's going to kind of co-head coach this team, but then also very smart. Colt McCoy has been in the league a long time. For what it's worth, he used to play here for the Browns in Cleveland. And he was even brought into the coaches meeting yesterday and is going to have a say in play calling. So it's sort of all hands on deck. You've got a lot of very smart veteran coaches, help from a veteran quarterback who's been here in Cleveland. They have all the right people in place to go ahead and play a game, as unfortunate as it is, without Cliff Kingsbury. They're very fortunate to be in this position without him, all things considered.
So being that there's so much still up in the air, like with what people are going to see with this Cardinals team and just on the field in general in this game. Do you have any predictions on how this, not score-wise, just how this game is kind of going to play out going into like the fourth quarter, what the game's going to look like? Because people are saying that, without Nick Chubb, it might be the Baker Mayfield show. And then on the Cardinals side of the ball, are they going to try to attack that run defense? Or are they going to air it out? What do you think this game's going to look like going into the second half of fourth quarter?
I have no idea. Both teams are missing so many key pieces that I have no idea. The Cardinals do have one of the worst run defenses in the league, and I'm certain that even with Kareem Hunt, and they've got a really talented third-string running back as well, they're going to probably still focus on running the ball. Jarvis Landry still is not back with the team, so you've got Baker and Odell Beckham that are going to hopefully try and do have a little more success than they have already this season. But those two guys have not been, on point with each other so far. So the Browns have really leaned on their run game. So it's unfortunate that they don't have Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt is not the same type of back, but I would think that, hey, the simple thing is the Cardinals stink at stopping the run, and we still have some pretty talented running backs. And, oh, by the way, we're having a little bit of trouble in the passing game. So let's establish the run and go from there. I would assume that's what the Browns their game plan is going to be. They're also going to be, though, without their most likely going to be without their two starting tackles. And so that's going to be an issue with them, too. I mean, it's like, holy cow, I don't know how this whole game is going to unfold.
So our friends at Bird Gang Travel Club are in the chat, Chierstin, and they want to know, how windy is it? What's the weather like right now? Because we're hearing like conflicting reports where people are like, yeah, the weather sucks at the moment, but the sun's supposed to come out for game time. Like, I know that your blood's a little thinned out, right? So let's take the cold dynamic out of it and just talk about, is it raining, windy, hail? What's the current climate?
Actually, the funny thing is I'm actually pretty warm now. I have a jacket and gloves and whatever, but I was freezing
gloves.
when I got here. Yeah, I still got to use my phone. When I got to the stadium, it was pouring rain, it was hailing, and it was really cold. Now the sun is starting to come out, and it's starting to warm up a little bit. That's the thing with a place like Ohio. You never know. It could be like you can experience all four seasons in one day. Now, from what I'm hearing and what's expected is that it's going to be windy. Of course, this stadium is on Lake Erie, so it's typically always going to be windy. But it's going to be windy. It's going to be a little bit cold. And the rain, though, it's not expected to rain. So who knows? It's Ohio. It's a little bipolar here when it comes to the weather, but right now the sun is actually coming out. It's a very nice temperature. Things are starting to dry out, and still a few hours before kickoff. It might be a really nice night to play some football out here.
That just goes to show I was bitching about the start time. I'm like, oh, yeah, start this game 10 a.m. Arizona time so we can get this puppy going. It's an East Coast game. Why is it on later in the day? Turns out that may work to the Cardinals' benefit if the sun comes out. So final question, Chierstin, we'll get you out of here. I've been thinking about this all week. This is a type of game where it can showcase your culture if you're the Cardinals, your rebuilt, renewed culture. And I don't think it's hyperbole to say that if the Cardinals win today, and this is just how I feel, I'd be interested to get your opinion, Shane. If the Cardinals win today, it is one of the best single-season wins under the Michael Bidwell regime in Arizona. Given no head coach, you're already 5-0, targets on your back. Cleveland's a damn good team. You're missing a ton of players with injury and or COVID. If they were to come out and beat this Cleveland team, what would that say to you, Chierstin, about how far this Arizona franchise has come?
They're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, my expectations for the team, if they were able to pull off this win, is they have absolutely everything they need, from the culture to the coaching staff to the supporting staff to the players to the depth on the team. They've got all the pieces of a championship caliber team. And so, yes, I would agree. This would be, one of the biggest wins that we have seen in a long time, if not ever, in Cardinals franchise history. The amount of adversity, I just can't even begin to think about it. I mean, you've got key pieces out on injury because of COVID. You're without your head coach. You mentioned it. This is a dang good Cleveland team they have never lost back-to-back games in the Stefanski era. They're coming off a really disappointing, emotionally and physically draining loss to the Chargers. Critics have come out of the woodworks, and there's a lot of criticism surrounding this team. They've got a lot to prove, and on top of it, they're a great team, and they're going to come out, I'm sure, with the fight. So if the Cardinals are somehow able to win on the road with all of these conditions, they have all of the pieces to be a championship team.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, if they get out of this alive, their next game is against the Texans. So basically, it means 7-0. It would be impressive because of not only going on the road and doing this with all the complications, but also this team in Cleveland is fired up. I mean, Baker is fighting for his life.
Yeah.
He hates being criticized. So I expect to see a really good game from him. But Chierstin, I appreciate you joining us on the Tailgate Show.
Yes.
It's been fantastic. I love the background and the beautiful noises coming from it as well. It makes me feel like I'm on the field.
I'm living the dream right now. Look at this view.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Living the dream.
Are you going to be able to score that spot post-game, we think, when you join us on the PHNX Cardinals podcast post-game show?
I should be able to secure this exact spot. I already asked the fine folks that helped me get here in the first place if I could be here post-game, and they said, have at it.
Love it.
Awesome stuff. Well, Chierstin, thank you so much. We'll talk to you later today.
See you guys.
I hope she stays warm. I'm going to stay warm drinking my nice, cool Coors Light.
Yeah. Not a sponsor, but if you want to stay warm with one of our sponsors, I don't know how this relates, but you can shave off some hair.
It's literally the opposite of what that means.
They have breathable boxers.
They do.
Which also doesn't make you stay warm, but maybe inside you'll be warm with Manscaped.
Horrible. This might be the worst transition I've ever
I think
heard.
it was pretty damn good, considering all circumstances. Manscaped, it's a great service that really supplies you with the tools you need to look your best and feel your best. I'm feeling my best right now.
You do look pretty good today.
Really?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you.
Come
I don't
on,
know if
man.
it's when we do bets and I do it remote and I see you like semi-pixelated and I'm like, God, Shane looks terrible. But I'm in person today and you look much
You know what
better.
I think it is? I
What?
think it's because you're in a better mood on Sundays. And when
Yeah.
you're doing bets, you come in with the mindset that you're going to attack me.
That's true. I'm in attack mode. Today I'm in, let's hang out, watch some football.
I love that. I also love Manscaped with their Lawnmower 4.0, their Weed Whacker, their Body Wash. As I mentioned, their breathable boxers are fantastic. They have the right tools for the job. And right now you can go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping using code PHNX. That's 20% off and free shipping with code PHNX at manscaped.com.
Shane, let me ask you a question.
What's that?
Have you been on Go PHNX lately?
I go on there every night and I browse like I'm shopping on Amazon.
So GoPHNX.com is our fabulous website. And, I was thinking about it the other day, and I went on a couple competitor websites. I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody. You go to those websites, and you're just fighting off, like, pop-ups and ads left and right. Go to PHNX.com. It's smooth. It's to the point. If you're a member, first of all, thank you. Kudos to you. If you're not, what the hell are you waiting for? Memberships now, 50 cents for the first month, $8.99 on the subsequent months, or roughly $59.99 for the entire year. Save a little bit of dough. And for our members, you get the members deal of the week, which we've got new ones every week. And this week, it just so happens to be my Cardinals. Buy any Cardinal shirt, get one 50% off. Phenomenal Kyler Murray tee.
No, it's not Kyler Murray.
It's Kyler Murray.
That's just a Rise Up Red CT.
Is it? Okay, well, it's a Rise Up Red CT. You can get this fantastic looking bird on a football PHNX
I love that
logo.
one.
I bought 8 shirts the other day. I kind of went nuts a little
You
bit.
bought 8?
I bought 8 shirts.
6. I thought I was crazy.
Well, I bought 8 because I like both college shirts, and I have no ties to either. They're adorable, but
Because you were homeschooled?
No, I went to a university out east. The Sun Devil and the ASU and the AU shirt are fantastic. So if you haven't checked out GoPHNX.com, check out our merch lounge. It's fantastic. Deals on deals, just like what we do. We're like Steve Nash, dishing out deals. DraftKings, Manscaped, GoPHNX.com, PHNX Locker. Oh, goodness me. Do we have so many fun deals for you, America?
We also have
It's like sold out. I've been refreshing the page constantly trying to get this Coyotes tee. It's back.
Yeah, it's
All
back.
right, go get it right now.
back.
It's back.
we also can dish out some nice picks as well.
We can.
On that DraftKings Sportsbook app. So why don't we get to get to tap that app, or are we doing Cerveza Says first?
We're going to do whatever you want to do.
Let's do tap that app. Let's get that out of the way and end with Cerveza Says.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, what is your looking at these games? First of all, can I just say this is a really great week in the NFL?
Really? I've heard people say it's like a shit week.
Really?
Okay. Maybe the Lions have been giving people problems because it is so competitive.
Yeah. I mean, it's competitive. There are some really good games. I mean, you look at the Chargers and Ravens is a 1 p.m. game. I mean, we have a shitty Sunday night game, but other than that, there's a lot of really good games.
I'm going to get a score check quickly on a game that I bet on. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
So on our bet show,
The Jags are driving now.
for those of you
How
who
much
didn't
time's
know,
left?
there's like 4 minutes left.
Oh.
So for those of you who don't know, we host a bet show. How dare you if you haven't seen it already. PHNX bets daily, noon, every day. And one of my favorite bets this week was jagging off with the Jaguars in London with Miami, and I like Jacksonville +3. Looks like that's going to hold here. Another bet, Shano, I do like this weekend. I like to take a lot of dirt teams. I'm not
you do.
I'm not for like the marquee bright lights. I am a blue collar bettor. I like the winless Detroit Lions +4 against the Bengals today.
They always do this to you, though. You always come in here saying, "Man, Campbell inspired football," and then you come in the studio on Monday, you're like, "Listen,
hey, they're at home. I think Cincinnati a little bit feeling themselves. Then they had that emotional loss against Green Bay last week. Listen, can America name 5 Detroit Lions? Probably not. You know, you got your Hawkinsons of the world, you got your Jared Goffs. That's probably about it. That's all you need. Since DeAndre Swift.
Jeff
See,
Okudah. We can do it, but
we're the outliers. My close buddy back in Illinois, diehard Detroit Lions fan, when I would get Sunday ticket to watch the Cardinals play, he would always come over and I'd be forced to watch a lot of Lions football. So I have a soft spot for that franchise. I want to see them do well. Today they get Cincinnati at home. I think Cincinnati, again, a little bit fraudulent. I'm still not bought into Zach Taylor. They lost to the Packers last week. It was hilarious. Their kicker celebrated like they had won it.
Yeah,
he didn't. He missed it. I think that emotional loss combined with Detroit is just so close. Every week I think they're going to get it done. They lost to Minnesota on a last-minute field goal. They lost to a historic kick against Justin Tucker and the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is the week they finally break through. Lions +4. I think they win outright. Money line.
So right now it moved. It's +3.5 now.
Ooh, tasty.
But I'd still take that because I feel like they're going to lose by another field goal.
That's fine.
Exactly. So take them to cover, not to win.
I like them.
That +3. No, you don't. You like them to cover. That your lock is to cover.
All right, fine.
I'm not going to let you take their money line.
I'm not going to take the money line.
I'm a good friend.
You are.
Really?
No.
Damn it.
Keep going.
All right. Well, mine is I actually like picking teams that are capable of winning football games.
Oh, okay.
So give me the no, it's not. Give me the Dallas Cowboys going into New England. 3.5 is just not enough. They put up 35 points 3 times this year.
Yeah.
New England can't put up more than 20 consistently, and I don't think they do that in this game. The Cowboys defense is weird because they show flashes of really. I mean, they're completely outperforming what their expectations were for sure.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like Trayvon Diggs has all these interceptions, but he also gets burned quite a bit because he takes so many risks. And I'm still confident in it. I don't think Mac Jones is. I think the Cowboys defense matches up well against Mac Jones. The little dinks and dunks they can get all day, but I'm not worried about that. I don't think they put up enough points to cover that 3.5. So Cowboys -3.5. Give me that all day on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I actually like the under in this game as well.
Gross.
It's at 50. I mean, I'm not going to take that as my lock by any means, but I just don't see New England putting up.
It's weird because we talked about this on bets. McCarthy versus Belichick is as big of a mismatch. But now we're just seeing in the post-Brady era, Bill can lose to any number of teams. Yeah. And so I think I'm with you. Dallas is just too damn talented. Dak's playing lights out. They have too many skilled players that can match up with what New England does in their back seven. And I'm with you. Mac Jones, they want to win games like 17-14. Dallas will embarrass you if that's your game plan. I think they win handedly.
Well, let's get into a prop that you like.
Yeah.
What's your favorite prop from this week? We kind of went out of order in this. Usually it's prop, lock, and drop. At first we're locking, then we're propping.
And then I think I tweeted it out wrong too, so I'm probably
we're still gonna be dropping at least.
Well, I'll drop a team here in a second. But my prop that I like this week, I like Mark Andrews +900 for the first TD against the San Diego, now the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers, who gave up over 150 receiving yards to David Njoku last week and a touchdown. Mark Andrews right now in the discussion with Darren Waller, Travis Kelce for the best tight end in the entire NFL. That Baltimore offense with Lamar Jackson's been simply sensational.
Yeah.
Again, if Baltimore gets the ball first, I think they're going to score. I think the Chargers defense is gas. Derwin James, as much as I love him at safety, he's not been the same players we've seen in the years prior. Their linebackers are relatively average. Being Mark Andrews, is going to eat today. Plus 900. Again, you sprinkle $100 on that, you're winning $900. I mean, those are the ones that have the biggest spread because people think they're outlandish. But when I watch this team defensively for the Chargers, they're very susceptible to giving up big plays to the tight end. So you got to hope the Baltimore Ravens win coin toss, then you'll be good.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this game.
Oh,
it's
game
such
of the
a
day.
gift at 1 p.m.
Yep.
So my prop is also in this game. It's Lamar Jackson over 233 passing yards.
Okay.
The last 3 games, I think he's gone over 280, and obviously he exploded against the Colts. He looked phenomenal in that game, in that fourth quarter and overtime, rather. 442, 4 touchdowns. The week before that, the Broncos, he had 316 passing yards, and the Lions 287. We just saw this Chargers team give up a plethora of yards to the Browns, and I think this Ravens offense has potential to be better than the Browns at some point. They're getting Rashad Bateman back today, which is so exciting. But even without him, their receivers have been playing well. I mean, Marquise Brown, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, he decided that he's a good football player again. He's always been a good football player, but he just hasn't been able
Just
to
having that breakout season everybody waits for.
Exactly. So it's good to see. I'm a huge Lamar Jackson guy. I hate the Lamar slander. Get it off my timeline.
Fun fact about Lamar Jackson, I'm not sure if many of you out there know this, but the Cardinals actually had an opportunity to draft Lamar Jackson and took Josh Rosen instead.
We love that for the Cardinals. Well, they wouldn't have Kyler Murray if they did that.
That's
so.
true.
Different strokes for different folks, I guess. Let's talk about our drop.
Dropping it like it's hot.
What are you dropping today, Johnny?
I don't want any part of Houston plus 10.5 at Indy.
It's 11 now.
It's 11? Yeah, good Lord. I would almost say dabble in some Houston Texans, but Davis Mills hasn't been terrible. That's just a game.
He wasn't terrible last week. He's been terrible before that.
Yeah, the AFC South is just, let's just light it on fire. It's that bad of a division. The Colts are, they're playing for their season, but not really because it's basically over as long as Tennessee keeps winning games. Carson Wentz is terrible. Everybody thinks that Frank Wright is a big-time fraud now after 11 on him each of the past 2 seasons. I would want no part of this game. I could see it going either way. I don't think Indianapolis has the means to blow out anybody. While I also think that Houston's probably not as bad as people think, but I also expect the Cardinals to destroy Houston this time next week. So stay away from that game. There's nothing good can come of it.
With this being a competitive week, there's a couple of ones that I really don't want to touch. I think of the Vikings-Panthers game.
Yeah.
Line's only 2.5. I think of the Seahawks-Steelers game. I know you like that in the show, but
Tease.
The line is moving towards Seattle now. Fun fact. It's 4.5.
It's even better.
I'm not going to touch that, but the one I'm staying away for is that Raiders and Broncos game. Okay. I don't know if the Raiders are going to play inspired football or not, and I don't think the Broncos are good enough to win by 4.5 points even before the Gruden thing. It's just bizarre to me. This whole game I'm staying away from. I think the Broncos win this game, but you just never know after a huge thing like this with Gruden what's going to happen to this team. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be fired up? Are they going to play with passion or are they going to sulk? You just don't know. So I'm completely staying away from that Raiders and Broncos game. Anything else you like? Any other tasty nuggets from a betting perspective?
When can I give you my lock of the week? Can I do that right now?
Isn't that what we did? Sorry, you can give me your lock.
I haven't given you my lock of the week. I just gave you a nugget that I enjoyed.
Okay, give me your lock. +4.
I have a different lock.
I thought that was your lock. That's why I was so
I do a lot of research. I don't know if you guys don't know. So there's a lot of things that I like from a gambling perspective. All right, my bonus lock of the week, the Seattle Seahawks losing and taking the -4.5 Pittsburgh Steelers, which Shane tells me now on the DraftKings Sportsbook app you can get at -4. Geno Smith couldn't win on the East Coast when he played there as a member of the New York Jets. Now he's going to travel out east as a member of the Seattle Seahawks. That Seattle Seahawks franchise is being held together with duct tape. Russell Wilson basically is the mega elixir. He's gone. He's on IR now, hanging with Sierra. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't think are a great team, specifically because Big Ben is washed. I don't think it matters today. I think they're going to be able to run the football with Najee Harris. Seattle's defense is atrocious. I think they're last in the NFL.
It's awful.
I think that's a double-digit win. I think Geno Smith throws a couple pick sixes, maybe a couple red zone turnovers. Today is going to be the first official day where we say, Seattle, your run of consecutive postseason appearances, not having a losing record since you drafted Russell Wilson, that's dead and buried. That starts today. Geno Smith, frankly, I forgot he was still in the NFL.
He's been backing up Russ for some time now. Everyone likes to say the reason I think why the line isn't more is because one, he looked somewhat impressive,
but that's without a week to game plan. The Steelers and their defense knew
exactly what I'm saying. And Geno Smith isn't like he wasn't revitalized behind Russell Wilson. Like it's not possible to happen.
I'm shocked.
Here are your odds. Anytime score. Wow. Steelers defense. Guess what the odds are on DraftKings Sportsbook for anytime score?
Anytime score. I bet it's like 500.
360.
Oh my God.
They're confident in it.
So basically, Vegas is telling you there will be a defensive touchdown. That game.
Yeah. If you think the Seahawks start with the ball and you want to sprinkle $10 on the Steelers defense to score first, it's at plus 2,200. But yeah, for me, this game is. I would be shocked if Big Ben loses this game, and if he does, maybe you get some people. Dwayne Haskins. Little whispers there.
This is not the game we're going to see Dwayne.
No, I'm saying if they lose this game,
okay.
There might be something to be said about that. I like that bonus pick. I agree with you. I think they cover that game. That's just so unfortunate that has to be the Sunday night game. I wish there was more time to flex.
Is it really the Sunday night game?
Wish there was more time to flex out. All right. Well, let's get into our last segment, which we're doing flip-flop this week. Survey says.
Look at that handsome man. Was that based off of me?
I'm trying to figure it out.
No.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's a combination between me and you.
That's fine.
Okay, good.
Hello.
Hi, Jacob.
Hey,
How's it going,
Jacob.
guys? So, the Cardinals are in Cleveland this week to take on the Browns. So I figured for this week's questions, I would go all things Brown. Very vague. I know. And so I did some research. Did you guys ever pay attention in your history class?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, one of the most famous Supreme Court cases of all time was Brown versus the Board of Education. In what year was that Supreme Court case decided?
Decided? I'm saying decided. I'm like, well, I know when it started. I don't.
I'm going to defer to my co-hosts here. Good Lord.
Let's see. Give me what is 19. It's 69.
No.
No.
Just throw a number out.
1978.
1954 was when that court case was
Remember
decided.
it well.
All right, we'll go to our next question. Brown is a mixture of what colors?
All of them.
Red and orange. Do you have a ding for me? Red and orange.
No, I don't have a ding.
Is that right?
No, it is not right. You're close.
Blue.
It's not blue.
Black.
It's red and yellow.
Close.
Every color.
No.
You guys combined kind of have it.
Blue and yellow?
I have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, so I'm mixing colors a lot. They also eat a lot of crayons. It's red and purple?
No, you guys had it together. You were close.
That doesn't help me. Red and blue?
Red
and blue's purple.
Yellow.
Red, yellow.
Red, yellow, and blue?
What was the first color you said, Shane?
I don't remember.
Black. Red, yellow, and black. There's some combination.
Sure
that was a
right.
stupid question. Yes. I hated that question.
Or if you're combining other colors, you could do red, yellow, and blue. But it is red, yellow, and black.
Okay.
You want to go?
Or you could just use a brown crayon.
You want to go finger painting after this?
No, I don't.
And then my last question: Cleveland joined the NFL, 1950. How many starting quarterbacks have they had at some point in that timeline since 1950?
What about just since they moved from...
That I don't know. It's not the
back.
question, Johnny. You can't change the question.
We need that guy with the jersey that has all the names on it.
Give me 94.
That's too many. 61.
57. You were really close.
Yeah, I know
They've
my
had
Browns.
57 starting
You know your
quarterbacks.
Browns.
I know my Brownies.
And that's just one game. That includes quarterbacks that have only started one game. But I just, I think it's funny that the carousel of quarterbacks that have gone through there. I would imagine a lot of them have come in the 2000s.
Yeah, and that's why, everybody has low self-esteem with Baker Mayfield, where they're like, he's he's the man. We are going to blindly defend him. He's got 4 touchdown passes on the year. It's like if you've never been to like a fancy restaurant before and then somebody takes you to Applebee's for their Applebee's boneless wings and you're like, these are the greatest wings I've ever had in my life. She can't defend herself here, but you get where I'm going with this.
Okay, but here's the thing. I actually they're not the greatest, but they are not bad boneless wings.
No, they're not.
They're not bad boneless
They're
wings.
boneless wings.
My analogy basically is
I hate boneless wings.
The Browns have had such inept quarterback play that when they get something a little bit above average, they overblow it to the point where they think now I'm not saying that the organization is doing this because they're not, because they haven't paid him yet, and they may not pay him. They picked up Baker Mayfield's 5th-year option, and he's a placeholder. He should not have gone number 1 in 2018. It should have been Lamar or Josh Allen, either 1 or 2. Baker Mayfield may not have even been a first-round pick. So I just think that this team, that's the frustrating part, and you'll see it today. This team is maybe the most talented, if not top 3 talented team in the NFL. Bookend pass rushers, elite offensive line, skilled players left and right, a bunch of high picks in their secondary. Then they have this quarterback who's probably B-, C+ on most Sundays. And then you on the flip side, you've got a true number 1 overall pick in the subsequent year, that being Kyler Murray. And that's why teams are so hesitant to pay average guys. Whereas if you feel like a Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen can carry you past that rookie contract, you feel like, okay, yeah, we got to hear our draft picks, but this guy can mask a lot of mistakes. Kyler Murray, eventually, the hope is he can do that. Michael Bidwell will give him a big fat check and pay him generational wealth. Nobody is buying that Baker Mayfield can do that.
I miss DeShone Kizer.
Do you think that Baker gets the extension?
I think he gets something like Tannehill-esque, whether or not he opts to take it. The question you always have to ask yourself is, if Baker Mayfield hit the open market, what would be the market for him? It wouldn't be like Dak.
No.
It would be like, hey, here's 3 years, 4 years, $100 million, right? And we're only going to guarantee half of it. Teams look at Baker and they're like, okay, you have a really good head coach now, and your roster's stacked, and you're 3-2. What's the problem here? We just
I
saw
could definitely see a team that needs a quarterback overpaying.
I don't know. I feel like that's what Cleveland would do if they knew otherwise. So
if there's a franchise to do it, it typically would be Cleveland.
If you're the Browns and you got to go up against Lamar Jackson now, and Joe Burrow looks pretty good, who knows what Pittsburgh's going to have happen. The bottom line is Cleveland will not always have the stacked roster. You can't just go.
You can't waste it.
Yeah, you're feeding frenzy in free agency. So I do think he gets outplayed by Kyler today, but I also have concerns just about the pass rush for Cleveland is elite, and the offense for Arizona didn't look great last week. No Chandler Jones. But here's the difference, and I said this on our PHNX Cardinals podcast on Friday with Chierstin and Frank. Baker Mayfield is not an athlete that can move around. So if they can somehow stop Kareem Hunt on early downs, I think that they'll benefit from the fact that Trey Lance, they kind of gave him running lanes. Baker wants to try to run around but can't. Force him into passing downs. That's the Cardinals' best appetite for a win today, I think.
Yeah, just watch Baker go out and light up the league now that we've been talking about him like this.
I know. Cardinals' pass defense is really good.
Yeah, I'm not talking about today.
400 yards today.
No, I think that time is over. I think we know. We've got enough of a sample size now where it's like, 25 to 27 touchdowns a year. That's fine.
Yeah. What do you, before we get out of here, score prediction for the game?
So I picked them to lose earlier in the week, and then now all the COVID stuff and Kingsbury, but Nick Chubb's out. Chierstin thinks both tackles might be out for Cleveland. My dad was blowing me a bunch of shit because I picked the Cardinals to lose. I will stay with that. They got to lose the game eventually. There's so much. I will be so happy to eat all the crow on our post game if they win today. I will say the Cardinals lose something to the effect of like 27-24. And they're going to bounce back against Houston next week, and they'll be fine at 6-2. This is, again, I think it's not crazy to say this will be one of the, if not the most impressive regular season win since 2006 when 2005-2006 since Michael Bidwell took over the team.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be a shootout. I think there's going to be a lot of points put up again. And if the Cardinals can stay with the Browns in a shootout without a head coach and with Kyler Murray leading this team, I mean, man, they're in a good place. So I think Browns do win 34-31. I think it's close, though. I think it's impressive, but we'll see. We'll see. I'd love to see a Cardinals win, of course, but
we do have some breaking news.
Whoa.
The Jaguars have won a football game.
No way.
They have defeated the Miami Dolphins.
No way.
Urban Meyer is officially back, and we will also see you back here on PHNX Cardinals post-game show immediately following the conclusion of Cardinals at Browns. We'll have Chierstin Susel back. Saul might be here. Who the hell knows? Frank Sanders. Maybe I'll coax Shane into hanging out. Probably not. Jacob, our fine producer. We're all going to be back here. See you post-game.